Here's section 2.3, the slope. Hopefully you recognize that word slope from way back when you were in Algebra 1. The slope is basically the slant of a line. Officially, it's the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change in a line. Vertical on top, horizontal on bottom. So the slope can be written several different ways. The vertical change over the horizontal change, or you'll recognize this one, rise over run. That means that you have to do the vertical direction first and then the horizontal direction on the bottom. Or we also can do it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Just watch these. You don't have these in your notes. But you'll remember back to when you used to count the slope of a line, you find 2 points and you count the rise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over the run, 1, 2, 3. So the slope is 6 over 3, and of course we always reduce fractions if we can, so the slope there is really 2 over 1. This one's going downhill though. That one's going to have a negative slope. So starting with this point, you would go down 1, 2, that's negative, and then you'd go to the right 1, 2, 3. So that has a slope of down to right 3. When you're looking at slope, you can have one that's a positive slope, and in that case, it would be a line that looks like this. It's a line that's going uphill from left to right. Negative slope would be the lines that are going downhill like this. Zero slope is a line that's flat. But undefined is a line that's vertical. Those are the 4 different kinds of slopes that you can have. So first of all, let's practice reviewing the slope formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's going to come from these points right here. Determine the slope of the line that passes through 3, 4, and 6, negative 8. So your first point is x1, y1. Your second point is x2, y2. And you use those in the formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So all we have to do is plug in the values, then solve or simplify. So y2 right here is negative 8. One thing you have to be really careful about is your positives and negatives. Minus y1. y1 is found right here. That's 4. So plug them in. Over x2, that's right here. That one's 6. It's always minus. x1 is that one right there, 3. Negative 8 minus 4 over 6 minus 3. So to simplify that, we have negative 12 on top. 6 minus 3 on the bottom is 3. Reduce it if you can. And this one is a slope of negative 4 over 1, or just negative 4. Look at this one. x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug it into the formula. It's the same formula there. So the slope is going to be y2, which is 4, minus, it's always minus, y1, which is 3, over negative 4, which is x2, minus, always do subtraction, and then look at the next number. The next number is negative 2, so it's actually a double negative right there. Negative 4 minus negative 2. So we'll turn that into plus a positive, and we have 4 minus 3 is 1, over negative 4 plus positive 2 is negative 2, and that's the slope you have for that one. For this one, x1, y1, x2, y2, the slope is y2 minus y1. So that's 5 minus 5. On the bottom we have negative 3 minus 7. Negative 3 minus 7. So this is a slope of 0 over negative 10. Are you allowed to have 0 on top? Yes. 0 divided by negative 10 is 0. The only thing you're not allowed to ever have is 0 on the bottom of a fraction. And this last one, we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. So for our slope, we're going to do y2, negative 3, minus y1, which is 7, over x2, 5, minus x1, which is 5. So in this case, we have negative 10 on top, but 0 on the bottom. That is actually going to be undefined. So if you think about it, when you're looking at these slopes, let's think about what kind of lines you would have. This one is negative, so it'd be a line that's going downhill like that. This one is also negative, so it'd be one that's going downhill like that. A slope of 0 right here would be a flat line, straight across, horizontal. And a slope that's undefined would be vertical. It'd be a line that would be going up. Here's an example of how to graph a line, and we're going to be going into this in a lot more detail later, but just a quick review. If you start at the point -2, -5, which is right here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you start at that point has to be on the line, and then you use a slope of 3, 5. That's up 3, and since 5 is positive, it's going to be to the right. 3 up, 5 to the right. So we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually do it twice just to make sure my line fits perfectly. So it's up 3 again and to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can put my other point there and another point right here, and my line is the line that connects those. So this is a line that includes the point -2, -5, and it has a slope of up 3, right 5, up 3, right 5. So looking at the next example, it's the same idea. Start at the point 4, 5. Look at your graph and figure out where the point 4, 5 is. That's your x and your y. So you go on the x-axis 1, 2, 3, 4, and on your y-axis it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your point starts right there. And this slope says 3, but that's the same as saying 3 over 1. So what we're going to have to do is go up 3 and right 1. So that's what we're going to do. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. If your line is going off the graph, don't forget, you can always go backwards, and it can look like -3 over -1. And that still works out to be a positive. So you can also go down 3, negative, and you can go left 1, and it's going to end up falling on the same line. Watch, you go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 1, and it's going to be the same graph. So I have a point here, and I connect them to form my line. Parallel lines are non-vertical lines with the same slope. If you look at the slope here of these two lines, they're parallel. It's going down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. Parallel lines are lines that are never going to intersect. So they're going at the same slope. But perpendicular lines are lines that have a product, or their slopes have a product of -1. That's a complicated way of saying that it's two lines that have slopes that are opposite and reciprocal. So look at this first line here. I drew it already just for you to look at. It goes down 2 and right 5. That's a slope of -2 over 5. This other line right here has a positive slope. It's going uphill. It goes up 5 and right 2. These are our two slopes. So you can see that they're opposite of each other. One's negative, one's positive, and they're reciprocal. It's flipped over. -2 over 5 and +5 over 2. And that makes two lines perpendicular when their slopes are opposite and reciprocal. But if you look at it, if you take these two slopes and if you multiply them together, that's what product means. These cancel, and you're left with -1. So opposites and reciprocals will always cancel out and leave you with -1.